Welcome to the deep dive. Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, he's someone we all know, right? Definitely a huge figure in tech.
Undeniably hard to ignore.
But his focus seems to be shifting, moving, beyond just social media. He's talking about this future where the internet isn't just something we look at.
But something we might actually live inside. That's the hook.
Exactly. So that's our big question today. What is this future he's painting? And maybe more importantly for you listening, should we be excited or maybe a little nervous?
That's definitely the core question we need to unpack. You shared a really interesting source with me, a script from a YouTube podcast called Mark Zuckerberg's Vision for the Future, A World Beyond Social Media.
Yeah, that's the one.
And it does a great job laying out these big ambitions. The metaverse, sure, but also brain interfaces, AI. It's a lot.
It really is. So think of this deep dive as us trying to uh, boil it down for you. We've gone through that script, pulled out what seemed like the most important bits.
Right. The goal is to give everyone a clear picture of the vision, where things actually stand now, because that's key.
Definitely. Progress versus hype.
And yeah, what are the big questions we should all be asking about how this stuff might actually impact our lives?
Because it feels like Meta, the company, is really throwing its weight behind this. It's not just talk.
No, the commitment seems very real. So understanding the why and what behind it feels pretty crucial right now.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the big one, the thing that got all the attention, the metaverse. The script describes this core idea as like a full 3D virtual world.
A persistent space where you'd have an avatar and you could, work, play, hang out, essentially live a kind of parallel digital existence.
And that whole name change, Facebook becoming Meta, that wasn't subtle, was it? Felt like planting a flag.
Not subtle at all. It was a very loud signal that this metaverse idea wasn't just a project. It was becoming the central focus, the future direction for the entire company.
The script mentions the investment too. What was it? Over $50 billion.
Yeah, $50 billion. That's a staggering amount of money. It shows just how much they believe this is the next big thing.
But, and this is a big but that comes through in the script, despite all that cash, the feeling is that the metaverse still feels kind of empty. Like a ghost town was the phrase used.
That contrast really jumps out, doesn't it? You have this massive investment, this huge vision, but the current reality, as portrayed, seems much less populated, maybe less compelling than promised.
They even mentioned that awkward metaverse demo with legless avatars. I think a lot of people remember that one.
Right. And while maybe that was just a technical glitch at the time, it kind of symbolized the gap between the grand vision and the, let's say, slightly clunky reality people were seeing. It hits that uncanny valley thing, too.
Yeah, just feel off. But the script does outline what Zuckerberg hopes it will become. Things like virtual offices where you might work alongside AI colleagues.
Or attending concerts virtually, feeling like you're there. They brought up Travis Scott as someone who could do a performance like that right in your living room, essentially.
And AI assistants that are deeply integrated, understanding you really well.
These potential uses paint a picture of digital interaction becoming much more, well, immersive and maybe even more integrated into our daily routines than just scrolling through feeds.
It's moving beyond the flat screen, I guess.
Exactly. More presence, more interaction. But it also brings up questions like, how would that AI coworker actually function? How deep would that AI assistant's understanding go?
So for you listening, the script kind of puts it this way. Is this metaverse thing a genuine revolution, like when the iPhone first came out and changed everything?
Or is it maybe just a glossier, more technically advanced version of stuff we've seen before, like, remember Second Life?
Oh, yeah, Second Life. Good comparison. And the script also touched on that public reaction, didn't it? That maybe a lot of people were just thinking, can we just get better Instagram Reels, please?
Huh. Yeah, that sentiment definitely comes through. It highlights that fundamental challenge. Does this new complex thing solve a real problem or fulfill a deep desire people have? Or are they happy enough with the simpler stuff?
Is the demand actually there?
Precisely. Second Life showed virtual worlds weren't new and making them truly sticky, truly social in a meaningful way. That's still hard, even with better graphics. The Reels comment points to that preference for quick hits versus deep immersion.
Okay, so the metaverse is the flashy part, maybe the current focus. But the script suggests it's like just the beginning, maybe even aiming towards killing the smartphone.
Yeah, that's a provocative idea raised that this is all part of a much longer game. The metaverse might just be phase one. Phase two could be augmented reality, AR.
Right, AR glasses.
Yeah.
So not being in a virtual world, but seeing digital stuff overlaid onto the real world.
Exactly. Information, graphics, maybe even virtual objects appearing in your normal field of vision through glasses. Meta's definitely working on that.
And then it gets even wilder, according to the script. Brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs.
This is the really far out stuff. The idea that you could interact with technology just by thinking.
Like the example they gave was texting someone using just your mind within 10 years.
That was the suggestion, yeah. A decade. It's a huge conceptual leap, moving beyond keyboards, touchscreens, even voice commands to a direct mental interface.
Wow. Okay, that immediately brings up questions, right?
Yeah.
The script touches on this. Will that feel natural?
That's a huge one. Will it feel intuitive, like an extension of ourselves? Or will it feel alien, invasive?
And the script had that interesting angle. Natural for whom? For humans or for some kind of future AI hybrid? It's a bit mind-bending.
It really is, and it taps into those anxieties people have. The script uses the phrase Black Mirror level creepy, which everyone kind of understands as shorthand for technology gone wrong.
Totally. And they even threw in that meme reference, Zuckerberg's robotic water sipping. It sounds silly, but it captured a public feeling, didn't it? A sense of something slightly unnatural.
It did. It became a visual shorthand for a certain kind of awkwardness or perceived lack of relatable humanness, fairly or unfairly. It plays into the skepticism around merging too closely with tech, especially when it involves our brains, privacy, autonomy. Huge concerns.
Okay, so alongside the hardware, the interfaces, there's the software, the intelligence. AI is obviously massive everywhere now. And the script talks about Meta's angle on it. Developing AI chatbots, but with personality.
Yeah, that's a key detail. Not just functional AI, but AI designed to be companions, maybe even therapists. The script even mentions the really out there idea of recreating deceased celebrities or loved ones as AI personas.
Whoa. Okay, that's a lot to unpack ethically. Companionship via AI. Digital ghosts.
It opens up a massive can of worms, doesn't it? Potential benefits for loneliness, maybe, but also profound questions about relationships, authenticity, and, well, grief.
And the script points out something interesting about Meta's approach to AI development. Zuckerberg's commitment to making it open source.
Right, which is presented as a contrast to companies like OpenAI, which tend to keep their models more closed, more proprietary.
So making the underlying code available.
Basically, yeah. The argument is that this could foster more innovation, let more people build on it, scrutinize it, kind of a democratizing AI angle.
That sounds potentially good. Like the good guy move, as the script puts it.
On the surface, maybe. It encourages collaboration, transparency, could lead to faster progress, wider benefits.
The wider. There's always a...
Always. The script immediately flags the flip side, if it's open source.
It gives the blueprint to hackers.
Yeah.
That was the phrase. They even made a little Terminator 2 joke.
Yeah. Skynet vibes. But the concern is real, right? If the code for powerful AI is just out there, it could potentially be misused by bad actors. Easier to find exploits, easier to adapt for harmful purposes. It's the classic open source dilemma.
Security versus openness.
Exactly, a fundamental trade-off.
Okay, so we've got the Metaverse, AR, BCIs, AI companions, all this incredibly ambitious, potentially world-changing tech, which brings us crashing into maybe the biggest hurdle for Meta.
Let me guess, trust.
Bingo. The script calls it the elephant in the metaverse. All the history, the baggage, privacy scandals, election stuff, documentaries like The Social Dilemma.
You can't talk about a meta-led future without addressing that history. It looms large. For people to buy into these deeply personal technologies, living in their virtual worlds, connecting via brain interfaces, they need to trust the company building it.
And that trust, for many people, is just not there.
Yeah.
Or it's heavily damaged.
It's a significant deficit, yeah. The script points out that track record creates a lot of skepticism about whether user well-being will truly be the top priority.
Now, the script does mention Zuckerberg's side, the argument that we've learned from the past.
Right, the position that mistakes were made, lessons have been learned, and things will be different going forward.
But then there's the counter-argument, which the script also highlights. Should any single company, especially one with that history, wield so much power over these potentially fundamental future technologies?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? The concentration of power. If one company builds and controls the dominant metaverse or the main BCI platform, they set the rules. They control the data. That raises alarms for a lot of critics.
Who owns the future internet, essentially?
And who gets to decide how it works and for whose benefit? Is it genuinely for the users, or is it primarily driven by the company's own interests, like profit or data collection?
So the script kind of frames this whole thing, this entire vision, not as something inevitable,
No, not inevitable at all.
but as a bet, a huge gamble by Meta. And whether it actually happens depends, well, on us,
Huh.
on you listening.
Exactly. It hinges on user adoption. Do people want this? Is there a genuine, widespread demand for living and working in virtual reality or interfacing with tech via thought? Or will people just not bite?
Will the technology serve a real human need? Or is it a solution looking for a problem, driven by corporate ambition?
That's the billion-dollar question, or maybe trillion-dollar, given the investment. No matter how cool the tech seems in a demo, if it doesn't resonate with people's lives and desires, it won't take off.
The script mentioned that YouTube podcast asking people in the comments, Team Metaverse or Team Touch Grass?
Huh. Yeah, that sums up the debate nicely, doesn't it? The pull towards these immersive digital worlds versus the desire to stay grounded in physical reality.
It captures that tension really well.
It does. It reflects that bigger conversation we're all having about what role we want technology to play in our lives. How much is too much? What's the right balance?
Okay, so let's try and tie this all together. We've looked at Zuckerberg's vision, drawing from that podcast script, the metaverse as this immersive space.
Then AR and brain interfaces potentially taking us beyond screens altogether.
And AI becoming more integrated, more personal, maybe even like a companion.
And running through all of it is this constant push-pull, right? The amazing potential benefits versus some pretty significant risks and, frankly, ethical quandaries.
Plus that huge question mark around trust and corporate power.
Absolutely. And it's interesting how they all potentially link up. The metaverse could be the main place where AR and BCIs are used, with AI underpinning the whole experience. It's one interconnected, ambitious roadmap.
So as we finish up this deep dive, maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What role do you want to play in this? Is Zuckerberg's vision a future you're excited about, one you'd jump into?
Or do you have reservations? Are there different ways you think technology should be developing, different demands we should be making?
It's not just happening to us, right?
No, absolutely not. We shape it, our choices, what we adopt, what we demand, what we reject. That all steers the direction things go in. It's worth thinking about.
Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Yeah, fascinating topic.
We'll catch you in the next one.